that. So the cleanup crew. So you are a member of what I call the cleanup crew. If you are both doing and being source via your intentions to lead from right action, which is going to be determined by your wisdom, your intuition, your knowledge, your discernment. And all of those energies comprise integrated feminine and masculine energetic aspects, which we will be talking about a lot in the workshop. Integrated feminine and masculine energetic aspects, aka the mother and the father, the goddess and the god, or removing all polarity or separation between masculine and feminine energies. They comprise source, the one, the divine or goddess. Okay. So the cleanup crew is comprised of individuated aspects or fractalized streams of source who incarnated to assist source in the return to itself, and hence the return to you, the return to yourself, the return to ourselves. And I'm going to emphasize the adjective individuated here because aligning with your specific purpose or purposes here happens through remembering and integrating your true cohesive nature. And when I say purpose, I don't necessarily mean like it has to be something that, you have this really concrete impression of what your purpose is. It can be something much more visceral, something just felt or known within you. Although it can also be, very specific action pieces in a more external format. Um, it's really about your nature and connecting to your nature. Everything is nature. Source is nature. You cannot get away from nature. Nature is not just, the trees and the plants outside or the creatures. Everything is nature. And so you are part of the whole nature, but the part you play is entirely specific to you only, just as your nature is individual to you. So your nature is going to be exemplified by your will, and your will commands the implementation of your intentions to bring your specific action pieces to your individual reality. And again, those action pieces may center around a whole gamut, a whole spectrum of energies. Okay, there are no presumptions here or assumptions here. The idea is that when you are creating in your individual reality, your creations are going to spill over into the collective realm, which energetically creates higher consciousness substrates. Your creations also interact with the substrates others are implementing via their own inner work and external creations. You can think of a substrate as a building block that overlays distorted, polarized programs, or you might think of a substrate as like this divine asphalt paved over an old potholed road full of chasms, which are a metaphor for inversions of source, chasms, like holes in the ground, inversions of source. And your energy and what you do with it creates the new infrastructure. So discovering yourself, rediscovering yourself and your aligned action pieces is inherent to you sincerely agreeing to do the inner work. It's all about that inner work, which is why I was emphasizing before when I was talking about, you know, um, specific purposes. There's such a gamut to that. Okay. Um, Beneficial inner work can be identified via your past and present experiences that created and continue to create your holography. Holography is how I refer to the programming and experiential wounds that create the energetic fragmentation within our minds in this realm, our minds, because this entire realm is a projection of our minds, individually and collectively. So I'm going to be using the term holography a lot in this workshop. And whenever I do, I'm referring to the nature of this realm as a projection of our individual and collective minds. So you might think of holography as an overlay, blanketing our perspectives and perceptions of self, others, our relationships, the entire world, this entire realm. It's an innate aspect of our individual and collective psyches and of the false matrix that we live in. So when we move through that holography, we begin to access our true cohesive selves, as well as the underlying organic matrix. And this is the goal of alchemy, to identify and burn away all that is false within us, or to purify all that is not functioning well within us, and to replace what is false or what is not the truth of ourselves, or what is not a reflection of the truth of our source selves, with expanded consciousness representing the divine truth of ourselves in this realm. And so when you identify and break through individual and collective holography, you're going to clean up the matrix programming within your own mind. Holography is created in our minds when we are children, primarily during the ages between like 0 to 7, when our brains are in theta, which is like a highly programmable hypnotic brainwave cycle, but then throughout our lifetimes as well, via the various experiences that function to prove the initial programming true. And it's that perception of proof that reinforces conscious and unconscious limited beliefs about yourself and the world via the feedback loop of your holographic reality interpretations. We don't need to go into the old programs or holography or systems or constructs and break them down. We do not need bulldozers for those things. All we need to do is overlay them, overlay the old holographic illusions turned perceived reality with divine lucidity, and essentially making this dream, this holographic projection, lucid via our creatorship, which comes from our intention and our will, which is informed by our inner work. So that new is going to dissolve the old, because energy organically transforms. Whenever we overlay a holographic matrix created energy, like shame, for example, shame holography is going to be an energy we're going to touch on quite a bit in the beginning of the workshop, with an energy of truth, like love or empowerment. And so essentially we're overlaying death energy, which are matrix-based holographic illusions, with life energy. And that life energy is comprised of the masculine and feminine energies within you. And when those are integrated cohesively, you give birth to a third force, which is everything you create from you. Your creations are like the children of the true divine love within that you integrate. And this is how the cleanup crew functions. Okay. So hopefully that is helpful in understanding what I mean by the cleanup crew. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen here. Let's see. Okay. So this is the post that I've been repeatedly posting on Facebook. Online integration and empowerment group workshop. I just wanted to go over a few things because I've been getting some of the same questions. So for the cleanup crew, you know who you are. We already talked about that. Why? The return to love yourself in the realm. Okay, why though? Like, why do you care? Why do you want to do that? Why? Well, first of all, it's really beneficial to transmute your experiences into something um, that has meaning, right? So a lot of you're going to have to determine for yourself like why you even care about this. And that's something that you're going to know within you and you're going to feel it within you. Okay. But there are also a lot of theoretical discussions that pertain to this why. And that's stuff that we're going to be talking about in the workshop. But the nature of this realm and who you are and what's going on here. Okay. Um, what you get, source connection private Facebook group. So yeah, so that's a group that I will create that will be private just for members of the workshop to be checking in, connecting, supporting each other. And I'll be checking in every day to support as well, answer any questions, just connect as well. Um, Real-time Zoom teaching 1 time a month. Okay, so this is going to be, when I say real time, I mean there's actually going to be a time that we set that we meet, and I will send everyone a link. And we get on Zoom and we're like, hi, hi, what's up? Hi, hi. And I teach. I will teach a topic. There's probably going to be themes every month. So I will teach a topic based on what I saw coming up the previous month. Um, but it's the way this stuff works, like I've seen it a million times. There are always themes that I note in all of my sessions, all of my one-on-one sessions every month. But at the same time, whatever is going on in my realm is always sort of reflecting that theme as well. So everything always ties in together perfectly. And everything that I have listed in terms of topics covered are going to be covered organically because they always are, because they all relate to whatever theme is going to come up. So that will be interesting to see how that plays out. And I know that it will be perfect. Real-time Zoom sharing and support circles 2 times a month. Okay, so I think the way that I'm going to do this is, as I have written here, 2 times a month. 1 time a month, it'll be more in evening time, Eastern. I'm in New York State in the US, so in Eastern time. And then another time during the month, it will be more morning time, Eastern. And then hopefully this way, depending on everyone's various schedules or time zones or whatever, you'll be able to at least make one support circle, which again is also real time. A link will be sent, we'll all meet, and we'll all be there together. Um, However, these will also be recorded. And this is something that you do need to know if you do choose to participate, that these will be recorded because they will be sent to other members who can't make it. And you always have the opportunity, not to turn your video on, to change your screen name if you want to remain anonymous and maybe just speak, whatever. I will always know who everyone is, so everyone can feel safe and comfortable knowing that anyone who is in the group, I know them, I've communicated with them, and yeah, so we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So sharing and support circle. So probably one of these is going to be more like everyone individually sharing sort of what's going on with them, receiving support, which I will be facilitating. And another one will probably be more like questions and answers, where you're actually ahead of time sending me like a question or something like that. And then I can answer the question in the real-time circle. And, we can take that is deep, as expansive as it benefits everyone to go when we're actually talking about things together. Because as I said, there are always themes. So probably your question will be helpful to others. A pre-recorded teaching, integration techniques, and energy healing sent to your inbox once a month. This is exactly what it sounds like. So this is going to be not real time, not on Zoom. It's going to be me recording something. One of those three things, either a teaching, an integration technique, or an energy healing, or maybe a combination, depending on what I feel each month. I already have a ton of ideas, and then sending it to you via your email. And then, of course, there's this optional attendance at an in-person Summer River workshop. So I live on an amazing river here in central New York, and I started doing group workshops and one-on-one workshops just last summer, and they were amazing. So that is what that's about. It would be a great way, after connecting for however many months to come together in person and connect that way. All right, so some topics covered. Identifying and integrating holography. Okay, so holography, I already explained what holography is. And holography plays out individually within our own minds, our own individuated minds, within our relationships, within our family systems, and then, of course, within the collective. So, identifying our cycles, our patterns, so that we can actually identify the holography, what's really leading there, our blind spots. Um, Also identifying, I'm chuckling as I say this because I don't want to get too deep here, but identifying the way things play out to actually shine light on the blind spots. And from what I have seen of late is, if you are on this whatever, consciousness awakening path, if you are a member of the cleanup crew, um, you're probably going to be experiencing things in a pretty sort of heavy hitting way these days. And I don't mean that I don't mean that as a bad thing or a negative thing. It's actually however you interpret it, because that's your holography, your interpretations, and exactly what it will be. But from my perspective, it is 100% a benefit. It's just, we're getting to a point um, with the energy that if we are sort of like time locked in some type of holography, some type of blind spot, some type of, mother wound, father wound, and our child wound that's like really keeping us trapped in an illusion and a dream, stuff's going to go down to crack that open. And, in my case, stuff that went down for me last year and even leading into this year, this was actually, I mean, well, okay, I'll save that for my workshop, but it was some pretty crazy stuff. Like it was hyperdimensional type stuff. And and I come from the knowing, and this is my gnosis, this is my wisdom, and a lot of people won't agree with that, and that's okay, but this is my knowing based on my experiences. Any type of hyperdimensional interactions or 100% energetics that are sort of egregorical or energies created by our thoughts and our emotions, either collective ones or individual. Okay, so um, yeah, that was my game. That was my fun game that helped me so much. As much of a nightmare as it was, it broke open an illusion that I was living within, that I'd been stuck in for quite a few years. And the thing about this path is, as you're doing the inner work, a lot of times, you get led over here, you get led over there, you get led over here, and it's all useful, but you can't see what you can't see. You're in the dark. So again, it's all useful. You use it all. It increases discernment. It increases your understanding of nuance and paradox, no matter what you navigate. But a lot of times, you're still potentially missing some some padlocks on your cage, if you will. And so the ways the energies will interact to sort of remind you that you have the key and where your key is and what you're even unlocking, because you weren't even aware you had to unlock it, can be really interesting for sure. And we will all experience that differently. Okay, so mind and heart coherence, the path to your heart. This is all very much related because this is really the point. This is the point of everything that we are navigating. So your heart is the portal between spirit and matter, um, creating new energetic substrates within and without. I already sort of discussed that a little bit when I was talking about the cleanup crew and holography, etc. Alchemical transmutation, transformation. So another word for transmutation, this is so redundant. I'm just trying to, I try to use language that, different people might hook into. Another word for transmutation is alchemy. Another word for alchemy or transmutation is healing. Another word might be purification. Um, but we do take an alchemical perspective. So you're going to be learning a lot. If you've worked with me before, you know that a lot of what I do is teach because we all need to take responsibility, right? And so I try to give some tools, support, et cetera, and then you can take it and run with it and bring in your own remembrances, your own sort of openings within you. All right, so energy and polarity, including traps and next level dream states on the consciousness expansion path. Oh yeah, this is loaded. Okay, and I think that's pretty self-explanatory. There are a butt ton of those, and 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 I have a lot to say on that stuff. I have a lot to say on all of it, but okay, matrix and hyperdimensional navigations sort of relates to what I was saying up here about energies coming in to potentially initiate us, activate us, things like that, but it goes deeper and wider than that as well. If you don't know what I mean by matrix and hyperdimensional, like by those actual terms, this workshop may not be the one for you because it might just be a bit of a cognitive leap in terms of your learning so far. And so if that's the case, please reach out to me because there are other materials that I could assist you with, and I can assist you in other ways. If you're curious, like if you're like, and you're just sort of hooking into these concepts, don't just disappear, reach out, and we can discuss if this workshop would benefit you or if maybe we should start with some one-on-one sessions first. Okay. Connection to your source stream higher aspects. Yes. So some people might refer to this as your higher self. Um, lots of information to share here. And also information regarding other energies that people are interacting with. And I have a lot of information on that as well in regards to the holographic nature of this reality and the power of our minds and the energies that we create and the illusions and the dreams that we get trapped in, et cetera, et cetera. If you know, you're already picking up on what I'm saying. All right, so leadership and empowerment. So this is all about supporting you and all of us supporting each other, you guys supporting each other to come into your power, which is your soul's desire. It is your soul's desire to come into your power through the heart space, through balanced energies within. But this is what you want. This is what you want to come into your power. Even if you don't remember this, this is the ultimate boon, if you will. Because when you do that, it benefits everyone and everything around you as well. Okay. We are absolutely supporting each other here on this path. It's a part of it because, part of being here in this realm is like, yes, it's all the work that we're doing for ourselves and for the people immediately around us that, that we're interacting with, et cetera, et cetera. But it's also like making the choice, like, am I going to be moving into my heart center in terms of acting from a space of what we are capable of, as source beings here, as humanity, and how are we going to take responsibility for that and take authority for that, right? Okay, so transforming felt loneliness into presence and purpose. So that's a big one. I get that one a lot. I get questions about that a lot. The very nature of the workshop itself is going to assist in transforming that felt loneliness, but I'm also going to be sharing perspectives, many perspectives and different techniques and things that you can do to transmute that experience. Nature and individuation, spiritual sovereignty, lots of teachings there, lots of discussion there. Traversing and alchemizing fear into empowerment. So some of this is self-explanatory. shadow work, inner work, unconscious part, fragmentation, integration, anima and animus. If you don't know what this is, you will. You will be using everything that comes into your reality to do this work. Everything around you that you're interacting with is a symbol of sorts, but also, what's going on in your dreams. So dream work is really powerful, really meaningful, really cool, really fun. Making your waking dream lucid. Integrating and alchemizing maladaptive coping mechanisms. There are no shortage of those. Maladaptations. Okay. And a lot of times these are things that we might not even realize. We might not even realize it's a maladaptation. I know for myself, I've been in spaces where I was dissociating in some way and thought I was more connected through that mechanism. And it was only when I got out of that space that I was able to say, oh, wow, that was like major dissociation. Like I really wasn't grounded. I really wasn't agreeing to be here now. And I wasn't really, really in my life. And I thought that I was more in my life than before. So that's just one example. But of course, we can relate this to, addictions and all kinds of things. So we'll be talking about that also. Source self archaeology and unlocking. Who are you? Who are you? And finding you and unlocking you and being you and doing you. Techniques, clearing, healing, connection. There's going to be a ton of that kind of stuff. And then esoteric teachings, which again, this is a little redundant. I already sort of talked about some things above, but hermetic principles is going to be a big part of this. It's going to just keep coming up over and over again, as well as alchemical teachings and then application. So will in action, like what do you do with all of this? What do you do with all this teaching, all this support, all this connection, all of this purification that you're going to be working through in this workshop? What do you do with it? Okay, so we'll be talking a lot about that as well. And of course, benefits to you. Remember who you are, remember love, source community support and connection, improve decision-making, clarity of thought. This is huge because as you do the inner alchemy work and you're bringing in divine masculine energies and divine feminine energies. So by that, I mean, in terms of masculine energies, divine masculine energies, it's going to be like your air and your fire energy. And then for the feminine energy, it's going to be moving from any lingering maiden energy or wounded inner child energy into more crone energy, which my gnosis around that is you do not access crone energy without having done masculine, divine masculine, not inverted, not distorted, not wounded, divine masculine integration work. That's one of the ways that we access the crone. Otherwise, maiden is leading, distorted masculine energies are leading. And so you can see how this work influences decision making and thought clarity, balanced thinking, as well as improved emotional stability. So your nervous system is affected in a beneficial way, right? Consciousness and source integration, energy expansion. So this consciousness and source integration, this is like such a huge topic in and of itself. And we'll be talking about this in the workshop. You likely already have an understanding what I mean by that, but my hope is that your understanding grows. Your understanding keeps growing, and it will if you are sincerely in this workshop space and in doing the work with all of us. Energy expansion. You have no idea what you are capable. As you sort of chip away at what is not you and bring in more and more of what is you, your energy grows as well. Your capabilities grow, your abilities grow. I mean, and they're already there. It's not like they appear. They're there, they're in you, but you start to recognize them again, you start to expand them. And then also your energy supply increases. Like you just have more energy in general to do more, to create more, to be more. Life becomes more fun, more meaningful. Your relationships stop cycling in old stuck patterns that don't serve, that are just created from your holography and the holography of the one that you're interacting with. which creates a third holography, but that's workshop material. So we will get there. And then, of course, empowerment, right? So again, your soul's desires to come into your power, seeing yourself through the dream embodiment and the application of your individuation. Okay, so reciprocity, 144 a month. Partners or family members, 144 covers you both. Why? Because relationships are really freaking important. Connection is really important. So if you have a partner, or a family member, an adult family member, um, fathers and sons, mothers and daughters, mothers and sons, fathers and daughters, brothers, sisters, um, whatever family member, yeah, it covers you both. Okay. Um, and I guess, oh yeah, hang on, I have this here that I wanted to share. Okay, so teaching the ape to write poems. So I'm actually writing a book right now too, and I just added this to my book. This poem came back into my awareness just recently. I remember reading it like years and years and years ago. Teaching the Ape to Write Poems by James Tate. They didn't have much trouble teaching the ape to write poems. First, they strapped him into the chair, then tied the pencil around his hand. The paper had already been nailed down. Then Dr. Bluespire leaned over his shoulder and whispered into his ear, "You look like a god sitting there. Why don't you try writing something?" So I'm going to leave you with this poem, and I'm not going to explicate it. I want you to feel into what this poem means, what this poem is about. Does it activate you? Does it activate your remembrance at all? Does it activate a deeper understanding of the work that we'll be doing together in this workshop? You don't just look like a god sitting there, you are a god sitting there, and you definitely should try writing something. Whereas writing is a metaphor for all of your creations, your creatorship, your authorship. So, yeah, I'm going to leave that there. Let me stop share. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, please reach out. How long is this? I have no idea. Hopefully it's not that long. I have no idea how long I've been talking. Okay. Lots of love to everyone. Please reach out. My intention was to begin this workshop December 2nd, and it's November 17th today. I may extend that to more like mid-January because as of now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly 6 um, people that will be joining this workshop. And I would like to get more of us because the more the merrier. And I don't want to be like, I want this to be sort of like consecutive. So, like, we're going to start at a certain place and then we're going to move forward together. And I'm not going to open it for new members. Like, I'll start another one in like 6 months. Okay. Or possibly a year. Because my goal is for this workshop to be ongoing and to be a commitment, to be an intention that you commit to, so that you can actually get some real benefit out of this. And then once this group is done, I'll start another group. That's my goal. So I would like to get some more. So this has been really expansive for me coming into like my masculine energy, my solar plexus. Like I'm on here doing a video right now. Fun times. Um, because I need to reach more people. Okay. I would love to see at least 10 of us. I think that would be a really good number just for community support, various perspectives, various questions coming in, etc. One more thing that I do want to say also, I want to make this super, super clear. So this workshop is not going to be political in any way, shape, or form. In fact, if you want to bring in politics, I'll tell you why it's not going to be political. Okay. So my goal is to impart to you to please come in as you, beautiful you, individuated you, unattached to identifications with anything external to you. Okay, I really, really want to get that across. And with that intention, if we all have that intention, everyone is going to probably end up breaking through some holography around perspectives, perceptions, beliefs, judgments, interpretations about who others are, which is really, really important if we're going to be doing this work and coming into our heart space. So I will leave that there, and much love, and I hope to see you soon. Reach out. How do I stop this?